Hi, this is Ron Nutter, and welcome to another edition of Tech Bites with Ron Nutter. As you can see, this time we're going to be working with the Samsung Motion Sensor. Now, I do need to clarify up front, this is it's probably a little bit older one. This is what it looks like. Now, the little tabs, just because I use the 3M command strips when I'm working with things. This is what I would call Generation 1, because it only does motion sensing. It doesn't do light level. It doesn't do a lot of things that some of the others do, but this is the one I had on hand, and I've got a link to it in the description. That's about $25–30 if you get it from Amazon. And if any links I do put in my videos, they are affiliate links. I do get a small commission on those, but that doesn't change the price that you pay. But anything you do buy is very much appreciated. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone who has been subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate that. The numbers keep growing, and so I'm going to keep making videos. So bear with me, and if there's anything you would like to see, please let me know, because I want to make sure that I produce content of things that will help you as much as possible. Now, I opened this sensor up, and I did that for a reason. Now, the battery goes in here, and it runs with a CR2450. It looks similar to the 2032, but it's a little bit different. The reason I opened this up is if in the event you have a problem with pairing, you're going to need to know about, if I can get to the right button here, you're going to need to know this little button right here. Now, if you have to reset this, you will press the button down before putting the battery in, and then you'll see the light change from maybe a dim blue to very much full-on bright. That's your indication that it's ready for pairing, and you should be able to see it. Now, just to save us a little bit of time, I've gone ahead and gotten this one paired with the Hubitat, and let's switch over to that one now. So as you can see, we've already got it in here. Now, this is the default method that it picks up with for that name. So we're going to go in here and change it from generic Zigbee, and we're going to call this one. We'll scroll down here, and we will just call it Samsung Motion Sensor, if I can spell here, V1. And I'm going to put V1 in there for a reason, because if I start having other Samsung sensors show up, it's important from a naming convention, if I'm going to have a wide variety of sensors on there, to know which one's what version, so I don't get into a feature situation. So now if we go back to device list, all right, okay, so I changed the wrong field. Well, you get a sense for what goes on here. Let's go back in, and we can change that quickly enough. And we'll scroll down here, and we'll change that. And we'll change that, and we will save device and go back to device list, and now everybody's happy. Okay, now with that, we'll go on to apps, and if you've not seen the other video, you'll want to go ahead and install the Hubitat Safety Monitor. So you'll just click on built-in app, and you will see the safety monitor from there. Now, even though I already got it installed, it still shows it in the list, but you get the idea, and it's just a couple of clicks and you got it done. Now, we'll go into Hubitat Safety Monitor, and we will click the little diamond there because it's not showing us anything. Now, when you install the Samsung Motion Sensor, or probably any of the motion sensors, and I've got more coming here in the coming weeks, you will see three options. You can have it Intrusion-Away, Home, and at night. And this is where you'll have to start working with Hubitat on setting up the different modes it has. Now, at this point, we're going to set it up as Away. Now, we can very easily, if I got just one sensor, or if I have a whole host of them, but I only want them to be active when I'm away, then I can just select that option, and it immediately picks them up. Now, if I have some sensors that, say I've got a room that, well, like my studio, for example, that nobody should be in at a general rule, then I would have a sensor just for that, and I would select just that sensor for a particular rule. But anyway, we're going to just make things easy. We're going to select that we want it to use all sensors. So text alert. Now, this is where you can have it automatically tell you when it's been triggered. So it's almost as good as having a full-blown high-end monitoring system, but this is not bad considering you're able to do this yourself. So motion sensor triggered, if I can spell triggered here, and then you will put your phone number in here, and just for this purposes we'll put 1-888-555-1212. You want to be careful when you're putting the phone number in and how much you use that, because there is a message you see at other parts. It's when you get into the rules engine, and I've got some videos planned on that one, that they request you keep your number of messages, I think, to less than 10 a day, just because their service they're using, I'm sure, is charging them. So we press tab. Now, that way the done key gets ungrayed. Then we will click on light alerts, and we will select which light to turn on. I'm glad they say don't select all of them, because you can have your whole house go nuts on you. So we'll pick the single LED bulb that we've used before, update. Now, see, you can have it come up at 100%. You can actually, we don't want to do it to turn it on because we want it to get our attention. So we'll go down here to select light to flash. And after all, isn't that the whole purpose of setting this up? So we'll click on single LED. We'll click on update. Now, if we had a bulb like the LifeX, and I've got some of those that have different colors, this is where you can have colors, red for problem, blue for water. So you can kind of see where you can really get creative with this. So we'll click done. And then we will click done again. Now at this point, you see it has changed. So we've got an intrusion, and so we've got different alerts here. So we've got it armed as away, so we've got it disarmed now too. So you can have this varying degrees of operation, and this is going to be something that will simply take time. So we'll disarm it. And so now see, I'm sorry, we will rearm it. Made my mistake. I need to read what it's telling me on the screen. So now all monitoring is disarmed, and we'll rearm it. So you can kind of see, you can have all sorts of options to go on here. We'll click done. And now it says armed away, for the smoke detector. So you can see at a glance the level of which things are set up and running. So this one has been probably one of the easier ones to set up. I'm waiting for another sensor to come in that will actually have light level detection, so that you can have, in addition to motion sensing, be able to have motion sense and say, okay, only applies when this level of light. So obviously you may not want to turn lights on during the day, but if it's overcast outside, that's when you get into a judgment call. If it's pretty overcast, you're not going to have a lot of light in certain parts of your house. So that's all it took to get this one up and running. As you can see, it's very straightforward. The only caveat is this is a motion sensor only, but that's minor in the grand scheme of things. If it's what you've got to work with, then it's what you're going to work with until you've got things ready to go. Well, that's about all we have for this time. Thank you for everybody who has been subscribing to the channel. Really appreciate that. The numbers continue to grow, so I'm going to keep producing content. And as we get to this screen, you're going to see links to other videos of related topics based on the one that this video was produced for. Take a chance when you've got time and look at some of those, and I think you'll find some interesting information. Thank you for your time. We'll see you again soon.